This is like my 5th time trying to record this, so bear with me. Do I want the glasses on? I feel like no, because you guys can see the lights and that's probably really annoying. Excuse my cough, it's lingering. It's been here for months and yeah. Hi, my name is Alyssa and today I'm going to be talking about or sharing my multiple sclerosis, MS diagnosis story, or maybe not even story, but journey. Anyone that has MS can relate in the sense of like getting a diagnosis is a journey. So I figured that I would share that today. I initially started this channel because I wanted to make content about living with MS and dealing with it. I noticed at the time when I was diagnosed, which I was 21 when I was diagnosed, but I first started having symptoms when I was 19 to 20, 19. But yeah, no, I noticed that when I looked up on YouTube and the internet, especially when we're diagnosed with something, or if we think we might have something, we're Googling, we're researching. I had noticed that there weren't really many videos of those that had MS within my age demographic. The kind of average age or average ages for diagnosis for MS is between 20 and 55. That being said, obviously people can be diagnosed when they are older than 55 and younger than 20. It's just the most common kind of bracket is 20 to 55, which yes, I know it's a large bracket, but you know, like I said, I didn't really see anybody my age posted or had any content posted with regards to dealing with MS and things like that. So I figured why not share my experience. For a lot of you that are subscribed to me, you're probably wondering, didn't you already film a video talking about this stuff? Where did that video go and where did your other videos go? I deleted them and I decided to, kind of for multiple reasons. One being that I posted those videos when I was newly freshly diagnosed, which in a way I guess it was kind of good because you could get my kind of knee-jerk, like fresh kind of reactions. But then on the other hand, we weren't really sure, and I wasn't really sure about my prognosis, what type of MS I had. In the initial video that I posted, I said that I had primary progressive. I do not. I have relapsing remitting. Relapsing remitting multiple sclerosis is the most common type of multiple sclerosis, whereas primary progressive, is a more advanced type. I don't know, I just felt like it would make more sense for me to upload content now, having been diagnosed over almost 5 years ago. That's crazy. And kind of having the insight that I do now and being more familiar, I guess, with MS. Two, I am at a different place in my life. I graduated from college, got my bachelor's degree. So college diploma, bachelor's degree. I'm hoping to get into my master's, which I will find out within the next week. So fingers crossed. I have my own apartment now. I was in a relationship that has since ended. There's just been a lot of changes, and so I don't know, I just felt like it'd be worth refilming even fresher content. Today's video is going to be about primarily diagnosis, and then I want to do a video kind of talking about treatment options, what treatment I opted to get, which I'll probably mention or talk about it in this video, but just kind of more specifically why I chose that treatment option. Infusion day. I kind of want to do like a day in the life for an infusion day. I don't know, but I definitely will have more MS content going forward. That all being said, flashback to 6 years ago now. I went away to university for the first time. I was living my best life. No, I really enjoyed it. Like, I made new friends. I was enjoying my classes. That being said, I noticed that I was a lot more tired than normal. Granted, I experienced depression in high school and whatnot, so being fatigued wasn't necessarily something that was foreign to me. I had it or experienced it in the past, and so I kind of dubbed it off as, oh, you know, I'm just missing home, or I'm depressed, and maybe that's why I'm more fatigued. But yeah, no, it was another level. And then that kind of transitioned into urinary incontinence, experiencing that, urinary tract infections. It ended up being a kidney infection, which that was great. One of my friends, she really enjoyed working out. I was not a regular worker outer. Mind you, I was very active. Like, I played soccer from the age of 3 to 20. I did track and field for years. I was a figure skater from age 7 to 17, 16. Like, I danced, I did basketball. I think I already said I did track, cross country. Just, I don't know. I just didn't enjoy doing the whole gym thing. However, I wanted to join my friend, and you know, why not? I remember I was laying out the yoga mat or whatever, and I went down to do a push-up, and I did it, and then I noticed that my middle finger and my left hand was numb. Like, it was just completely numb and tingly, and I didn't know why, and it was so weird to me. And I figured, oh, I just pulled something, like, whatever, I'll be fine. But then that numbness never really went away. When I was visiting home on one of the weekends, because I would go home a lot, pretty much every single weekend, I made an appointment with my doctor, and I had told him, you know, hey, like, my finger's numb, like, I don't know what's going on here. And he was like, okay, like, that's kind of weird. So he sent me for a nerve conduction test. The results from that came back 100% normal. Yeah, it was just kind of like an unknown at that point. I noticed also that my mobility was kind of off, and like my balance was off. My friends and I, we went to the mall, just whatever, like one day. We took the bus because, you know, first years, you make use of that bus pass. It came to kind of like a sudden-ish kind of stop, and I was at the back, and it stopped, and I went whoosh, and I literally went flying to the front of the bus, fell flat on my butt. It was great. That was another kind of weird thing or sign. And then that winter, we went ice skating, and oh my god, like, that was probably one of the biggest signs, I guess, sort of, kind of. Again, like I said, I was a figure skater for years, so I had, I don't know if anyone is still, I don't know if these are still a thing, okay, so forgive me, but back in my day, Zuka bags were a thing, okay? And they had the light up wheels, and you could put your skates in them, and there was a seat, like, you could sit on them and do up your skate, like, it just, oh, I still have mine somewhere. So I had my Zuka bag, and I was ready. I was doing up my skate, fully just like ready to shred on the ice, like go out there and do like spins and spirals and just everything. And so I step out on the ice and just wham, like fell again, flat on my butt. And I was like, what the heck? I got up again, and I'm trying to skate, and I got upset with my grandparents. My grandparents raised me. I remember messaging them like, why didn't you tell me that my blades weren't sharpened or whatever? Because I thought my blades were dull, which was why I was falling. In hindsight, no, that's not why. There was a bunch of different things. Just kind of with all of that combined with my symptoms, the fatigue, the incontinence issues, things like that, I just was like, you know what? I miss home. You know what? I miss home. That's why this is all happening. Like, I'll just go home. I'm gonna go home, and maybe I'll enroll in my local college, and you know, we'll go from there. I went home, I enrolled in my local college. I was working part-time. I had the job before I went away to university, and so I kind of just, when I went home, I stayed working, and you know, unfortunately things kind of progressed and got worse. The incontinence issues, they started happening at work. It progressed to not only urinary incontinence, but bowel incontinence. Sorry, I'm just gonna look at my phone. I think I already mentioned, but I have notes on my phone just to kind of like keep track. So that summer that I came home, after coming home from university, so summer 2019, I played my last season of soccer. And then September to October 2020, I had severe symptoms, so urinary incontinence, bowel incontinence. I was also tripping and falling a lot. Like, my gait is, see these terms, like, I remember when I first started hearing like spasticity and things like that didn't mean anything to me, but I was walking funny, okay? I kind of was like, I always say like Frankenstein, kind of like just very rigid, tripping over my feet, which again was just so odd. And then the speed at which I was walking was not normal. Balance also, so you know, I had to kind of lean up against things in order to, I just wasn't steady. Due to my incontinence issues, I was sent home from work and they said like, girl, like you gotta get this checked out, which totally I completely understood and I agreed with them. So I went to my doctor and I went with my grandma, and you know, said like, hey doc, like this is not normal. I remember my grandma saying to him, do you think that maybe this is neurological? Like maybe we should get some tests going here? Like maybe we should get an MRI done, a CAT scan? My doctor did not listen. He tried to attribute it to an allergy of some sort, which, here's the thing, is it's like, I never had a history of allergies or anything like that, A. B, okay, if I was just kind of having incontinence or stomach issues, then okay, I would see where that reasoning kind of came in, but the fact that it was that accompanied with the loss of balance, the spasticity, the just everything, it was like, sir, shouldn't you be sending me for testing? So he referred me to, actually he didn't refer me to anybody. He wanted me to try and cut out lactose and gluten to test, I guess. And then again, obviously nothing was getting better. It just progressively got worse and worse and worse. It got to the point where I literally was like leaning against walls to get from my bedroom to the bathroom. Yeah, it was bad. And then finally one day I woke up and my back was in searing, like seizing pain, lower back. And oh my God, I've never been in so much pain in my entire life. This happened to me after being diagnosed while away at school a second time. Like it happened again. But this pain is like nothing else. But this was the first time I had it. So I woke up and I was like, what the heck? Like I can't move. My grandma, she took me to my doctor and we both, like I'm sobbing, like bawling. Like it hurt for me to even like sit up, move at all. Like I could not move. However, he told me, you know, come in, I need to do an in-person assessment. He sent me for an x-ray, or he wanted to send me for an x-ray, but again, my grandma and I were like, dude, like I need an MRI or something. Like something is not right, like something's really wrong. And again, he would not listen to me. But yeah, so just being dismissed, just got to the point. And again, this was in 2020. So this was in the heights of COVID-19 and lockdown and everything. People were scared out of their minds to go anywhere. And then also hospitals and everywhere, like people weren't allowed to go anywhere and places had restrictions, including hospitals. I said to my grandma, I was like, I cannot do this. I physically, mentally, emotionally cannot do this. I need help. Like I need to go to Emerge because my doctor, like he's not listening. My grandma brought me to Emerge and she walked with me. Yeah, she walked with me inside. There was a male nurse and a female nurse, and at the front doors, like greeting and just saying like, hey, like what brings you in? And I just started crying. I was like, there's something wrong with me. Can't walk hardly. I look like a freak. No one will listen to me. I was just sobbing, and the nurse, like he could tell that I was like, something was really not okay. So he allowed my grandma to come with me, which that was really sweet of him. I wish I knew his name and I wish I could thank him. So you know what, if you're watching this, like, thank you, sir. They took me back. A resident? Yes, so a student doctor, a student that's almost becoming a doctor, okay, a medical resident, okay. He was like, he came in and he said, oh, what's the problem? So I told him, and he started doing these looking back now, it's just like, oh my God, the fact that I just can't. But he started doing these physical tests on me, like testing my strength and seeing me kind of walk or attempt to walk. And I remember him saying to me, like, has anyone done these tests with you or on you? And I said, no. And he looked like disturbed, like he was like, what? And like something's not, I could tell, like he was like, what the heck's going on? Like something's really not, this is not okay. He went and touched base with the main doctor, the head honcho. They ordered a MRI for me, like to be referred to neurology right away. An urgent referral, yeah, yes, an urgent referral to neurology. I remember I heard back probably like 2 weeks later. And so I went and saw the neurologist. The neurologist performed the same physical test that the resident physician did, and some other ones, and then he sent me for the MRI. I went for the MRI. Like a week or so later, I was called back to the neurologist's office. And also during this time, I could not stably walk, so I had to be pushed in a wheelchair up to my appointments. Oh boy, just to think, like, my grandma was pushing me in a wheelchair. My grandma, she pushed me up to the neurology floor, to the neurologist's office, and he, you know, said that according to what was on, or what they read from my MRI, that my entire spinal cord was covered with lesions, which is scarring damage, and my brain had lesions all throughout, and that my spinal cord had so many lesions that there was virtually no more room for any to form. This, to him, was indicative of multiple sclerosis. Just so many different emotions that you feel, and it's complicated. It's so complicated. You know, on one hand, I'm like, okay, so I'm not crazy. I wasn't crazy this entire year plus of, you know, requesting an MRI and thinking there was something not okay. And then on the other hand, you're like, damn, something, you know, this sucks. Like, I have this illness. What's gonna happen to me? What's going on? Like, how can we treat, like, all these different things. So then my neurologist, he said that he wanted to do a lumbar puncture, a spinal tap, to test my cerebrospinal fluid, just to ensure that I did not have an infection. Our spinal cord, how do I say this? Within our spinal cord, there is fluid, and that is the cerebrospinal fluid. And so they insert a needle into your spine in between the vertebrae, and they're able to extract that fluid. So I had that procedure done. It was the most uncomfortable procedure ever. Not a good time, but what I will say is I was so desperate for answers at that point that I just was like, bro, like, go ahead. But yeah, my neurologist, he did the procedure. He was wonderful. The nurses in there were wonderful. They let my grandma be in there with me too, so that was great. And then, you know, fortunately the cerebrospinal fluid came back clear. So yeah, that kind of left multiple sclerosis to be the diagnosis. So that was kind of my diagnosis story. My initial neurologist, again, he was candid in that he was not an expert on multiple sclerosis, and so he wanted to refer me to a neurologist that had more knowledge, or kind of that was more his expertise. So he did refer me to a different neurologist, which is my neurologist now, and it was determined by my neurologist now and the one I was referred to that that the diagnosis of multiple sclerosis was correct, and that the type of multiple So yeah, that's kind of my MS diagnosis story. You know, it's sad that unfortunately so many people that get diagnosed with MS go on this long roller coaster or ride of symptoms and tests and this doctor and that doctor before finally getting a diagnosis. And you know, I recognize that I'm actually quite fortunate that it was within that time frame. Like, I know some people that it's been years and years and years. So just want to acknowledge that I'm not ignorant to that fact, and I am thankful. That being said, if you guys have any questions whatsoever, please comment down below and let me know. I'm going to try to upload more consistently for you guys. Please, if you wanted to message me privately or anything like that, don't hesitate to do so on Instagram. I was gonna say private message me on YouTube, but I don't even think YouTube has private messages, so maybe it does. But yeah, on Instagram my username is Alyssa's ADM, literally my YouTube channel name. Yeah, so same on Instagram, so just message me on there. And I also have TikTok where I will be posting videos and whatnot. Maybe not so much MS content, but just different kind of things. I kind of want to post different content on here too. It won't just solely be MS stuff. I guess kind of a schmozzle of different things. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and yeah, see you guys soon. Bye.